Welcome to Beardy, Bruce Lee Central.
Hey everybody, it's Birdie here. What's going on, guys? Okay, so I've always suspected that the fight scene between Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee on Way of the Dragon was ad-libbed, essentially making it a real sparring match between Chuck and Bruce, but I could never prove it until now. Let's take a look.
When I was having dinner with Chuck, I did ask him, I said, if you and Bruce were in a real fight to the death, who would win? And he, without thinking, he said, Bruce, of course. Right. Nobody could beat him.
Okay, so the voice you just heard was the voice of John Benn, the boss from Way of the Dragon. Now, this was a secret recording. He wasn't aware that he was being recorded. So he sat down with Chuck Norris and he asked Chuck Norris, who would win in a real fight between you and Bruce Lee? And Chuck said that Bruce Lee would win that fight. Now, if you ask Chuck Norris today, he would never, ever admit that Bruce Lee would beat him in a fight. Chuck has done hundreds of interviews and he never, ever, ever admits that Bruce Lee would beat him in a real fight. Why? Well, I just don't know. So John Benn and I talked together actually years ago. We had a phone call and I just wanted to get his impressions of Bruce Lee. And he told me that he used to vacation with Bruce Lee. And all of the time that they would hang out together, Bruce Lee would talk about martial arts, and it was only martial arts. He was only thinking about training, exercise, and martial arts. And he also said that Bruce Lee was the fastest and strongest guy he had ever seen. Now, John Benn is 6'4". He's a huge guy, a big guy, and Bruce Lee would push him around like he was nothing. And you even saw that in the movie Way of the Dragon.
I met Bruce Lee in 1968 when I won the World Championship in New York City at Madison Square Garden. And we were walking together to the hotel and talking about our philosophies and everything. And as we're going up the elevator, it goes to my floor. I get out, well, Bruce steps out with me. And the next thing you know, we're in the hallway working out. Now this is at midnight. And we worked out till 4 o'clock that morning. And Bruce had a 7 o'clock flight to Los Angeles, so he said, I gotta go get ready and leave. And so anyway, he said, let's work out together when we both get back to Los Angeles, which we did. So he lived in Culver City and he had a big workout area in his backyard. And so we started training in his backyard for like 2 years. And Bruce had different philosophies at that time than I did. And he said, I believe in only kicking below the waist. I believe you shouldn't go any higher than the waist. And I said, well, that's good and it's bad, Bruce. You should be able to have the ability to kick anywhere. And that way, if you only want to go low, that's fine. But if there's an opening high, then you should be able to take advantage of it. And that's what we did. I started showing Bruce different high kicks, spinning heel kicks, and jumping, spinning round kicks and stuff like this here. And I said, look, Bruce, that's great. Kick somebody in the groin. But why not kick him up in the face too? Why not? Why not do the same thing? And so anyway, he started showing me the sticky hands, which are close-in type fighting, which was really great to learn. And then I started showing him all the various high kicks, and he really fell in love with them. And he became so good after about 6 months, he could do them just about as well as I could. And then, like I said, Bruce left for Hong Kong soon after to pursue his movie career. And I didn't hear from him for like 2 years. Then out of the blue, he calls me. He says, Chuck, I've done 2 movies, and they're really successful in Hong Kong. He said, I want to do a movie now with a fight scene that everyone will remember. And I want to do the fight scene in the Colosseum in Rome, and I want you to be my opponent. And kiddingly, I say, well, Bruce, who wins this fight? And he says, I win. I'm the star of this movie. And at that time, I held the world title. And I said, oh, I see. You want to beat the world champion, huh? He says, no. He said, I want to kill the world champion. So anyway, I thought, well, it'd break up the monotony from teaching all the time, so I went to Rome and did the movie with him, and he said, look, I'm not going to make you out to be a bad guy. He said, I will kill you, but when I lay you down, I'm going to put your uniform, karate uniform on you, and put your belt across, so that way it looks like two gladiators combating each other. Bruce came to New York when I fought for the world title at Madison Square Garden in 1968. And we decided to start working out together in Los Angeles, which we did for over 2 years. And then he left for Hong Kong to pursue his movie career. And I didn't hear from him for like 2 years. And then out of the blue, he calls me. He says, Chuck, I've done 2 movies in Hong Kong, and they're very successful. I want to do a movie now with a fight scene that everyone will remember. And I want to do it in the Colosseum in Rome, like 2 gladiators fighting. And I want you to be my opponent. So kiddingly, I asked Bruce, well, who wins, Bruce? He says, I win. I'm the star of this movie. So, which I knew he was going to say. And I said, yeah, I see. You want to beat the world champion, because I held the world title at the time. He says, no, I want to kill the world champion. So anyway, I decided to go to Rome and do the movie with Bruce, and of course he killed me, but he said, I don't want to make you out to be a bad guy. When I kill you, I'm going to put your uniform across your chest and put your belt there. So it's like 2 gladiators fighting each other.
One of the great movies that people still remember is your movie with Bruce Lee, Return of the Dragon. It had that amazing fight scene.
Yeah, right. Still a classic today.
Still a classic. Just tell us what, just off the top of your head, comes to mind when we talk about that fight scene with you and Bruce Lee.
Well, the whole thing is, Bruce was a tremendous martial artist, and when we did the fight in the Colosseum in Rome, he just said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'll do these techniques, you know. And he said, okay, I'll do those. So it's it was kind of an ad-lib type of a fight. But I think what made the fight so spectacular wasn't so much just all the karate that we do most of the time in pictures, but it was the interrelationship between he and I.
So there you go, guys. Chuck Norris himself confirming that the fight scene between him and Bruce Lee on Way of the Dragon essentially was ad-libbed, making it a real sparring match between Bruce Lee and himself. So what you're seeing here is the build-up to that fight. This is the lobby of their hotel. And the rumor goes like this. They were sparring at the lobby of their hotel as a build-up to the fight, like kind of a rehearsal, and things got out of hand, and they started smacking each other, hitting each other on the face, and essentially breaking out into a real fight. That's the rumor, at least. I don't know if that's true or not, but judging from these pictures, man, it might be true. It looks like they're smacking each other around like for real, or almost for real, like an intense sparring match. So at least that's the rumor. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye.